Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue with Volume 5, Episode 6, and we're going to get into some really, really special photos in my collection. They're all special. They all mean something to me, but some of them definitely go above and beyond. Told you a couple stories about things, and these ones in particular are just really special to me. These were acquired by a friend of mine, and the person had gotten them supposedly from Sarah Fleetwood, Mick Fleetwood's ex-wife. And then this person had them, and I'm just a sucker for photos. And I very fortunately and unfortunately, traded a autographed poster of Stevie Nicks. It's kind of a hard to come by poster, but I don't know, like in hindsight, I have something signed to me. I have some other autographs of hers, that I know they're everything that I've ever gotten is real. There's signed tambourine, a signed things that my ex-husband got for me at Silver Springs Emporium. I have lots of stuff, and it's kind of the only way to get these photos. So I'm still pretty happy I got them. Um, so apparently, at one time or another, um, again, the people that I bring up, a couple people that I've dealt with in my past. One was Star World in Hollywood, and one was Book City, both in Hollywood, Los Angeles area. But apparently, at one point or another, Star World had gotten hold of some early Stevie Nicks with Robin, her best friend, um, negatives or photos, I'm not sure, and was told kind of explicitly, please do not reproduce these. And then he sold them to somebody who did reproduce them, somebody overseas who reproduced them supposedly in plentiful. And so they kind of became kind of mainstream. A lot of people were having them. They got put up on site. This is like around maybe maybe 2000, 2002, maybe around that time. And so unfortunately that person at Star World got, kind of got a little, flack from that. But then next thing you know, it's no big deal. They've come and gone. But the negatives that had been had, I want to say there's about maybe 10 to half a dozen of them. But these are definitely all the photos that were in that session. Probably still not all, but a heavier amount than the ones. So the ones that are pretty common are the ones that you see here. But these are the proof sheets of these, and these again are taken by Richard R. Moss. So extremely, extremely beautiful and personal, beautiful photos. And I'm grateful to have everyone. And then again, original. These kind of like it's not a chalk, it's like a wax crown to kind of, choose some of the ones that they want or that they think. And it's funny that this one is chosen. You would think that one would be not chosen, but it's just so cute because they're obviously got a joke going or something's happening where they're just both laughing, and you can't see their faces. They're just so happy, and really, really amazing, beautiful photos, and just the smiles on their faces. They're just really gorgeous photos. And some of these photos, I'd done kind of a little theme. You'll see on some. Yeah, let's see here. And then here is another one that had kind of been out and about. And then another proof sheet. Now, I think most all these ones that had been out and about, I believe that I have them all in the proof sheets. I'm pretty sure. Move this a little bit closer here. Sorry. So I think that all of them are in there. So there might be one that I have here that I'm showing you that may not be in the proof sheets, but I'm pretty sure that I have all the loose ones that got out. Now, I'm sure there's probably tons more, but having the proof sheets that I have and the shots that I do, they probably go through, I don't even want to know how many rolls of film in a session, but I like to figure that I have a nice amount for sure. Just Stevie looks great. Just her and Robin, they're just so beautiful. Just these, friendship, and of course we all know how sad it was, that Robin's passing and stuff. So then I thought this was really kind of a cute little homage here. So I took these letters and put for Stevie and Robin here. So I know that this shot, I want to say, yeah, that shot is right here. So the ones that I'm showing you are ones that I purchased from Star World way back when, long before I knew that there were proof sheets to be had. And then here is another proof sheet. Hey, and then last one. Then I think this was a painting that Stevie had done. This was in the Belladonna songbook. You know, the lyrics and songbook, music note and such. So Stevie had written about having done this painting for Robin, and then there's this little piece about it, and I just copied it on here. Something to kind of go with the scheme of things. And then this is this is the last proof sheet that I have. So really just some really great, if you agree. I mean, probably a lot of those ones you'd seen, especially the bigger ones, but I hope you enjoyed all the proof sheets because I know those aren't really circulated. Certainly all of them aren't out there. Then, speaking of proof sheets, we have some really cool ones, again, by Richard Moss, and these ones are with Margie Kent, which is Stevie's clothing designer. So that's Margie here in this, and this is sweet girl whose name I never freaking remember. Not Carol. It's right on the tip of my tongue. This photo belongs to a friend of mine. He has the original photo, and I believe it's a Polaroid, and I was allowed to use it to show it here. He allowed me to make a nice copy of it. I'm just crazy about that photo. It's a great photo of them. And then here's the one with Margie. We have just some side little pieces, Japanese magazines, a little Belladonna excerpt about the video. And I think this little article is just, it's hard to be a fairy princess 50% of the time, admitted Stevie Nicks. I like my real self better. The Fleetwood Mac vocalist come Space Angel teamed up with producer Jimmy Iovine for Belladonna, an LP that showcased her rough-edged alto and dreamy compositions to splendor and successful advantage. Other Maxers who stepped out alone this year were Lindsey Buckingham, who got to try out some of his wackier oral notions on Law and Order, Mick Fleetwood, who trekked to Ghana to record The Visitor, and John McVie, who was glad to step out, period, from a cocaine and firearms rap after passing a battery of lie detector tests. Late in the year, the band laid down a gaggle of tracks at La Chateau outside Paris for the next Fleetwood Mac album, which of course would be Mirage. That's funny. I probably from Rolling Stone. And I want to say it's something like one of the readers poll or something like that. One of the pictures I've shown earlier. So, but again, these are those larger kind of, so you notice they're kind of bigger in size than this, not by much, but these are the larger proof sheet. And these were cut out. Unfortunately, I never got the whole one. These were cut out. These are things I've just bought. These two I might have bought together. But then there's a ton of photos which we'll come across of Stevie just in this outfit herself with her hair like that and stuff. We'll get to those at some point. Then these were a whole other set of Richard photos, gorgeous. And these ones, I got the 8x10s, I mean ages ago, and maybe these were amongst those. I don't think so. I think it was just the ones with her and Robin that were sold at that place. But then somebody made a set of these small ones. These are, I kind of just want to redo these pages and just trash these because, you know, as you can see, they're kind of cut out. But I have, and you'll see in the next page, I have, you know, I want the 8x10s when they're in full. And then I have some of the, I have an original photo proof is the big word I'm looking for. So that's like this one here. So yeah, so see how this photo and this photo are the same. Like I don't need this, and I don't like how these pages had come. These got done quite some time ago. The Robin and Stevie ones were more recent, but these were made a long time ago. But just so Stevie, and love Mary Tory, right? Big fan. Such a sweetheart, and love these photos for her and Stevie. And speaking of which, so I had gone to I think, no, let's finish these up. I think this is a page ahead. This isn't a page ahead. This is in the middle, but I'll close out the video with this. These are more this is from that other session that we just saw. A lot of people like to call these the Gemini session. I don't know if that's a proper name or it's just, perfect. Works out. But then there were these other, they'd kind of change outfits, and then there are these, and I like these more than these, I think. Just lots more smiling from Mary. And see how this one's cut off? Like, I need to get rid of these. I mean, they're pretty, and we're like that, you know what I mean? But I'd rather have, obviously, the full frame. Can't imagine how much fun they were having doing these. And the girls just look fantastic. Great makeup, great hair those days. That day in particular. Then we get to another session that was pretty prominent, and this was same, Richard and Moss, and I think the same day as these, I want to say. Pretty sure. And again, I had, funny enough, I think I had these long before I got these. So these photos were made, somebody made me, or I did, I don't remember, a bunch of these small ones. So see, I don't have a proof thing for this one, and then this one doesn't have a photo. These three I just remember buying from a very peculiar seller on eBay who swore that they had a boat ton more, and it encouraged me to keep in touch with them, which I did. Super nice person, but just was like, no, just give me time. I know where they're at, but I need to go through the boxes to get to them. And then I tried and just to no avail. So, and then this is again kind of early Photoshop kind of doing, which is kind of neat. Beautiful. You can just absolutely see. I mean, like I said, Herbert Worthington has a vibe. Herbert Worthington and Stevie, I mean, she was his muse, and he made phenomenal photography with Rumors and the Belladonna cover. But just in seeing as much as we have and knowing that for as long as we have, there's just a completely different vibe to be had by Richard and Moss's photos, in my opinion. And then some other ones. There's some ones I'll get to later where, again, there's an entirely different vibe with the I just forgot. Why does this happen to me all the time? Forget names. But anyway, I mean, and obviously that's being a photographer, that everybody has a different vibe and a feel and different lighting and different effects and such like that. But some of them just seem more Stevie-ish to me at times. And I think it was just getting outside and Stevie, being able to breathe a different life into her kind of stage persona, or her, her clothing styles that Margie made for her and that she put together herself, and just being photographed different than how Herbert did. And I think these just stand out and show that. And then even these, I mean, these are actually kind of funny because these are just kind of almost like the Disco Diva. This is so, like, if you just didn't see any of these other ones and you just saw this one, it's just reminds you of something straight out of like a Donna Summer shoot or something. It's just, with the microphone and the wire and everything like that pose. It's just so different than a Fleetwood Mac vibe. It looks more like a disco type of vibe. So I don't know. And on that note, there's this one, which is one of my babies. And I've had this one for years and I never put anything on it, but it was really funny. It's on a thick cardboard, as you can see here, super thick. And I've always wondered underneath this black here. Probably just says somebody's name. You can make out writing underneath it, but I just could never get it figured out. It probably just says Stevie Nicks or send a freaking Kodak, who knows. But I've had this forever, and this is really again, a belle of my collection. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of funny. You can see here it's kind of like matte and then kind of glossy. You remember when I showed those belladonna photos and some of them looked really blue? It almost looked like the ink was above the photo, kind of different. Well, that's how this looks in real life. It's like it's kind of been smudged to kind of look matte, where some of this was more silky. And then in addition to that, if you come up here and notice this is kind of rough right here on this part here. And this is, again, more Photoshop kind of, texture, and where they airbrush it or whatever terms photographers used. And you can also kind of see that when the light kind of hits it just right. Let's see if I can get a good, you can see this dress again, but see if I can get this on the, not really, but you can kind of see the discoloration and such. And then by her face, it's pretty much left to be, because that's perfect. It's a great shot of her, though. But yeah, so this is one of my babies here. This is, something I'm really proud to have and cherish a lot. So all of these I do, obviously I do. And I was, again, hate to say that and sound kind of corny, but I've just, again, gotten some really special pieces, and that's why I'm showing them to you, because there's some really cool stuff. So what I kind of took out in the middle here, which is between some of these photos, I had gone to see Stevie. And I think some more videos will be my concert stories, because I have some pretty funny concert stories. I think I've collectively seen Fleetwood Mac. When I say collectively, I mean Stevie solo, Lindsay solo, Christine McVie and Lindsay solo. I mean together, Christine Buckingham McVie, Mick Fleetwood meetings, Fleetwood Mac, all that just collectively, at or around 100 times for sure. And I had made it to Reno when Stevie Nicks was on tour with the Pretenders, I want to say, but I had no ticket. So I'd driven from Oregon to Reno and just was literally cutting it. Right when I was on the outskirts of Reno, I finally called Ticketmaster or something like that and called to see if there was a ticket available. And as luck would have it, I ended up getting second row. But that was really playing it. That was not only making a long ass drive, but that was, getting a ticket. But when I got there, it was really cool, because that was, during the time when Mary was on tour with Stevie and doing her sound, I think her monitor, her like all her lyrics, and there's a certain word for it, and I just forgot the word of it, not sound monitor, but just, anyway. And she was there, and I had recently acquired these photos, and these were from Herbert Worthington's stuff. And I got them and I showed them to her, and probably I'll make another video and tell the story a little bit more in detail, but there's some pictures of her holding them, and she had taken a picture of me holding one, I think after she signed it, and put it on her Facebook place. But it was just really cool. But these are incredibly freaking gorgeous photos. And I'm actually not sure that I'm pretty sure these are Herbert. When I look at the other ones, I mean, with all these other ones, you would think maybe Armas, but I'm pretty sure, because I know there's some other photos that go with this, that she's wearing this, the hair's kind of crimped. Not to say that, she didn't do that more than one time, but yeah, so I got her attention with them and asked her to sign them. And I guess it was kind of a big deal for her, because she had not signed anything of herself to somebody ever. So that was kind of special to her. And of course, it was incredibly special to me. Unfortunately, the photos were a little bit bigger. These are, like I said, these pages are 11 by 17, and these might have been 11 by 20. But it's well bordered, so I had to cut it down, and she had signed it already, so I had to be real careful how I cut it down. But as nice as it would be to frame them, I have so much stuff up, another video, and I like having my photo albums and stuff, and this is where they'll be cherished and looked at more often than they would be on my wall. So there was this one, and then this one, which is actually more my favorite, even though unfortunately the signature got a little smudged. But I love this one. They're both beautiful. It's hard to pick. I think I like this one better. So yeah, these are really, really, again, special. They all are. Everything is. But yeah. It was really a fun time. And then after that, I think I was coming home from that, and I think that's when I found out. I think that's when I found out it was in the Oregonian, which is a local, the newspaper. It's like, the San Francisco Chronicle is the, or Portland Oregonian. And I think I was in that. And by the time I came home from that trip, I was coming home and I was getting alerts when I'd come in out of the mountains or out of the desert, which was kind of funny. And I was getting alerts that had popped up. So that was it was a whole special trip. It was really, butt ass cold. Got pulled over by the police just before getting to Reno. Just a whole story unto itself. But this is a real special souvenir and memory. So that's going to wrap up this video. And I certainly hope you enjoyed it, and really, really hope you cherish and enjoyed these photos with Robin. There's some really good stuff in this video. So thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope you have a great night. Bye.